G'day viewers, just recording a voiceover to go with some video where the audio was unusable because of wind noise. So enjoy the scenery while I have this little rant. What I want to talk about today is a bit of the theory and history of comedy. You see, the thing about comedy is it's completely subjective. What's funny to me may not be funny to you, and what's acceptable to me might not be acceptable to you, and vice versa. See, it's pretty much pointless arguing these issues with someone who disagrees with you because it's opinion, not objective fact. So if you disagree with my opinion, well, clearly you're wrong and I'm right, but I'm not going to waste time arguing opinions with you. But seriously, you're free to disagree with me, I don't mind, but I won't engage with anyone who wants to argue via comments on YouTube because it's pointless. It's pointless because it's the wrong medium for a discussion, and also I just don't have the time to keep replying to people who go on and on and on and they just can't make their point and be done with it. These people just simply will not shut the fuck up. And they have no real interest in discussion. They just want to grind people down by droning on and on and on because they think getting the last word is equivalent of winning, and they will not shut the fuck up. Oh, why won't they just shut the fuck up? If there was really a god, he'd strike these fuckers down with lightning, and that's what I want to happen. I want them dead. I want them to die painfully and horribly, and that's not a figure of speech. I want them to die like something out of Happy Tree Friends. I want them to slip on their own drool and smash their face into the keyboard so hard the keys pop out and burst their eyeballs and the keys go right into their brain and they die! Huh. Okay, well, that went a little off track. A little. Okay, point is, I'm used to people who don't want to debate. They just want to be shouting the loudest. And I refuse to waste time with these people. You want to say your piece, just go ahead and say it, and then move on. Don't expect any tolerance from me if you won't shut the fuck up. In fact, if you want to engage with me, you have to put in as much effort as me. So if you think you're right and I'm wrong, you have to make a video going into at least as much depth as I do, or I don't fucking care. So, the theory of comedy. Well, there's many forms of comedy, and my favourite form is satire, the type that dates back to the European medieval tradition of the fool or the court jester. You see, the fool is the stupidest person, the lowest rank, so he could say anything to anyone without fear of retribution. The job of the jester is to entertain, but what the jester can do that nobody else can do is speak truth to power. So he can point out the king's an idiot because, well, what harm is there in someone so low insulting someone so high? You could actually argue that the idea of playing dumb to expose someone who thinks they're smarter goes back further. Like, for instance, Sacha Baron Cohen is basically using Socratic irony. Oh yes, I'm bringing up Socrates and ancient Greek philosophy. Just deal with it, okay? So, talking about Sacha Baron Cohen, particularly with the characters like Ali G and Borat, he uses Socratic irony to get people to expose their inconsistencies and prejudices. But you know, I prefer the tradition of the fool that you often see in Shakespeare plays. You see that? You see that? I'm a fucking intellectual. Don't fuck with me. Essentially, this sort of satire is making fun of things. Rather than making up silly jokes, the satirist is looking at people or things or situations or social conventions and saying, okay, here's what I think's stupid about that. Now, you might have noticed, I'm not into playing it safe. I like to push people's buttons, and I honestly don't think there's any topic that's off limits if you're funny enough. Now for me, funny enough means having enough skill as a comedian, actually having a point to what you're doing, and hitting a target that deserves to be hit. That's why the tradition of the fool is meaningful to me, because the difference between being funny and being a prick is who's telling the joke and who's the target. See, the little guy gets away with ripping on the big guy because that's all the little guy has, and how does it really hurt the big guy? At the end of the day, the fool's still a fool and the king is still a king. But when someone in power is making jokes at the expense of someone weaker than them, that's being a prick. And this is why I'm stunned by white people who say things like, a black person doing whiteface is the same as a white person doing blackface. Do you not see the power imbalance there? Do you not get the difference between, implicitly saying, stay in your place, darky, and trying to challenge the power structure? And do you not get that ignorance of a long history of racism that you've never been on the receiving end of is not a fucking excuse? And another reason I feel it's important to think about these sorts of things, it's for personal integrity. First, I think it simply makes this sort of joke funnier if you've put some thought into it. And second, not everyone's going to agree with you. Not everyone's going to get it. So if you're comfortable in yourself with what you're doing, then it isn't going to matter as much when people attack you. And people will inevitably attack you. And let's be honest, saying, "Oh, come on, it's a joke, lighten up." That's a pretty fucking lame defense. Personally, I've been called everything from, a soft, uptight, PC liberal to a white supremacist on the same day about the same video. Now, I know stupid. I deal with stupid every day. The secret to not giving a fuck about stupid people is having enough integrity in what you're doing that stupid people don't matter. See, people are always going to find different things funny and be offended by different things. But if you're telling someone they don't get it, and the truth is you're being an ignorant prick, the real truth is you're the one who doesn't get it.